day one of this lockdown 1.0, actually, when I realized that we have conceived. And in I mean, usually the first reaction of people would be like, "Hey, we are pregnant." But for us, because of this corona situation, everybody was really scared how the future is going to be. Everything was looking very uncertain. So for me, it came as something. It's like, oh, this is not something I want. I mean, being pregnant in such a scenario. So the first thing that came to my mind was like, maybe this is not the right time. Let's go and abort it. And Amit, because he has been like very supportive of when it comes to when to conceive and all. So he was like, okay, let's go by how your intuition is. And so he was very much supportive in that sense. So then finally we discussed it with my mother-in-law, and she was like, why don't you go and see this family gynecologist and just take an opinion. Rest, I mean, you can decide later on. So then we decided to go and meet her, and then after talking to her, I don't know, I just got the intuition, I mean, things are not that uncertain. And especially us, because we still have a lot of privileges, seeing how the society is. So it will not be that challenging. So we decided to finally go for it. So because of the lockdown initial, this first trimester, Amit managed to stay with me, even if he was there for only 1 month of leave, but he got his leaves extended. So that was a good thing for both of us. So once my first trimester ended, he had to go back to his post. Like when it comes to pregnancy, it's like some family doctor or some known gynecologist, if it's there, then you are just sure you'll be going with that person. So this family gynecologist we visited the second time. So I was feeling a bit of low BP, feverish kind of a feeling. And then my partner was like, okay, let's go and check with her what's, because I had no idea about all the discomforts that a woman go through during the first trimester. And then both of us, we decided we'll visit her. So my mother-in-law also, she's like, okay, let me also come with you guys. And then all three of us, we were talking to her, and then suddenly so she checked my BP. For her it was a normal thing, because she's seeing every other woman who's pregnant and going through these changes. For me it was something new. And then after checking, she's like, hey, this is all normal, and you have to be really strong. And then to my mother-in-law she said, you know what, she's going to give you a lot of pain, because she's acting so sensitive, and she'll not be able to bear childbirth pain and all. Then this was something I didn't like, because for me I was like, you have to be like a bit sensitive towards women who are experiencing it for the first time. And uh, and then because my mother-in-law and they had like family wise, they knew who has come for treatment and all. So then she started telling stories of other women in our own family, and this is something which really made me feel angry. I was like, if you are telling stories of other women to us, then it'll be other way around very soon. And both me and my partner, we just decided, no, she's not going to be our doctor. And then because of the pandemic, there was a lot of restriction, and we didn't know how to really go one by one and search, look for who's the who would be the best care provider for us. And during the same time, I think I was talking to Preeti, and she mentioned someone's name to me. She's like, this is my college mate who has gone through birth village, this thing, and why don't you talk to her, because she has done this natural birthing. That time I had no clue what is natural, what is normal. So then I thought, okay, I'll contact her through Facebook. And I was like, I don't know what kind of a person she is, whether she'll write back or not. But then still I was like, okay, if I'm not writing anyways, the answer is no, let me just try. So I wrote to her, and then she was so kind that she was like, okay, can we speak on phone? I said, yeah. So both me and my partner, we spoke to her. And soon after listening to her, we were like, okay, this is something we want to kind of really explore. So from her, I got to know about Birth Village, and then I went to Birth Village website page, read some of the birth stories, and it was really moving. And I never like imagined that birth could be so empowering. And this is something I realized from the stories, and I was like, okay, maybe I want to do this like many women. And so, but one of the apprehensions both of us had, because Amit was there, we knew that he's not going to get his leaves. Like it'll be 1% chance that he's going to get it. So that situation we knew. And then at that time flights were not operational, so it's like, okay, how would we go? We're like, let's keep it open and let's keep some backup option, this government institution or something, and let's just go with the flow. And so this was third month of my pregnancy. We were like pretty sure, let's go by this. And then we decided to do a consultation with Priyanka. We did like 40-45 minutes consultation, and the clarity that she had on like all the questions, the way she answered, she was so confident. And I just felt this instant connection, like both me and my partner, we felt like, okay, this is the thing that we want to do. So yeah, but yeah, we continued our journey with this uncertainty of traveling. And then the big question came when I shared it with my parents. We were like, who's going to accompany you? Because generally you can travel anywhere alone, but when it comes to a child and your body will be healing in initial 30-40 days, who's going to take care of you in such a land where no one? So then it was like, okay, let's think about it, let's keep thinking about it as the time comes, but let's just book the slot and let's see how things unfold. So for me it was more like taking one day at a time. So when it came to decide on like who would be my birth support person who's going to accompany me, so first thing on my mind was that it is definitely not going to be my mother, not going to be my mother-in-law, because I saw them giving so much of unnecessary knowledge of their time, which I felt was kind of very contradicting to what I was researching and learning. So I thought, no, maybe I don't want this level of contradiction when the baby arrives. And then later on I was like, who's the best person who can be there? I would say it was also lack of option there, that there's only one option left, that was Preeti. But still, honestly, I was like all my family members, they were like, Preeti, but like she can manage well with the language and the place and all. Like these are all the positive sides, but one thing is like how she's going to cook this postpartum food. She can cook Ayurveda food, this that, but postpartum food is different. And then how she is going to take care of the baby, she doesn't even know how to handle a baby, she has never really experienced a newborn and all. So there were a lot of questions which remained, I would say, till the last day, even a bit of it after we have arrived here. So I think I would say that we knew that it is not going to be perfect, but it'll make some sense. We'll be able to navigate somehow. And for me also, then I realized that for me also, this is for the first time I have not handled any newborn. So I was like, okay, maybe we both are learning it together then.
As far as these doubts are concerned, that whether I will be able to take care of her or the baby, or postpartum and all this was not my worry. The only thing which came to my mind, that the entire world has come to a point where we don't know what is going to be tomorrow. So for me, the most important worry is that how to save my sister from this overly medicalized world, and the way in which the entire pregnancy is looked at, the birth is looked at. So it's not a disease. First of all, it is a body's, it's like a it's a I mean, it's a motherhood is an institution, and it's also an experience. So if you look at it, like, of course, someone's body is going to change. A woman's body is going through a huge transformation. But you see like what Priyanka is saying, that what my mother and mother-in-law, they're telling her what is it to be the mother, and of course, those things. So I think my main hunch was to get her to a place where she feels at home, because this is going to change how she's going to feel further, and her life is going through that transformation. This is a setting of a foundation of a next generation. For when I was seeing the bigger picture, the care, and I have not handled the newborn, and my mother still think that I cannot make a tea. So this is like, this has to do with women, and I feel that it's at every level. When you're single, you can do certain things. When you're married, they will ask, the society will tell you. And even if these are jokes, and even if these are humor, I laugh at it, but at the same time I do get angry about it, because it puts you in the situation again, like they it's a profiling of a certain kind, that because I have not been a mother, I don't know how to take care of a newborn. Because I have not gone through this, I don't know what it is to feel the pain of somebody. you know I cannot handle a newborn. Like I do get a little annoyed by this, that I have to be a biological mother of someone to feel what is it to have a child. So it's like we're talking a lot, but I think we are constantly fighting with these ideas in our own head. And so this birth has shown us, to me and to Priyanka, that and I did not believe that. I mean, to stick with, oh, I have never taken care of a newborn, I don't know how to take care of a pregnant woman. Like, it was never my apprehension. I was like, she's fit, she's fine, she's not diseased, she knows how to do it, and we just have to get her to Kerala, and then rest will, like, let the universe decide. Who are we? I'm just a wire to this. So I never put a lot of focus on myself, or not less focus on myself, but I was like, if this child has chosen me to be the part of this journey, then I am going to be there. So I think that affirmation I had in my head.
This was in August when we booked our tickets, and we still had like almost 2 months to go. And we were pretty excited. So we'll connect with each other on video call every day, like 4 5 times. And then she's like, when she has a plan, some travel plan coming up, so she'll be very excited about packing and all. And I'm just the opposite. I'll be like, hey, I have to travel, I'm excited, but then packing is something that I don't really enjoy, that I do the very last day. And then she'll be pushing me, calling me, pushing me, have you kept this for baby, this, that. I'm like, okay, you keep it, you keep that also. Then she'll be like, I've kept this. So it was like all this excitement. And finally, when we reached here, so obviously the excitement slowly will come to normal when you are staying together. So obviously things are different when you are at a distance, but when you're together, you are seeing each other like 24/7, and then you have to work, like cook, clean, these kinds of things. Then it becomes a bit, oh, you did this, I did this, and these kind of sibling quarrels. So we faced it all. So there would be some days she'll be like, I'm not doing this, I don't want to eat. But then I am pregnant and I'm feeling double hungry and all. Like, okay, then I have to be, I have to cook on my own. So for her, I would say she didn't really see me somebody who's pregnant or somebody who's different. She was, I think, for the whole time, she was seeing me as before. So initially this was like a bit uncomfortable for me, because I was getting all the attention from my mother, my father, my brother, and then suddenly there is no attention. How come? And then I'm expected to cook, I'm expected to clean my room, I'm expected to do all kinds of things which I was not doing because my mother was there. And then slowly, and then I will call my parents, I'll tell them, they'll ask me who did what, because parents are parents no matter how big, how old you become. Then I'll like, she didn't do this, I had to do this. And then they'll call her, they'll it'll be like, hey, why you're not taking care of her? Then obviously it'll be, she'll come to me, why did you tell this to them? Okay, so this is like, this childhood drama that you see was still going on when we were here. But slowly we also came to, some equilibrium. With like, okay, she's good at this thing, she enjoys doing these things, so she'll continue to do this. And if I like cleaning the room and mopping and all, so they'll be like, I'll be doing this, so there'll be no agreement, disagreement, quarrel kind of a situation. So till, I would say, till labor pain, I was pretty much on my own. Because, and I think the way she saw me like before really helped me to remain independent. Like till the last day of like childbirth, I was pretty active, doing all kinds of work, and then going for a walk. And then like initially I was expecting her to go with me for a walk, so she was going, but someday she'll be like, hey, I don't want to go. After a point, she just left. And I was like, hey, but walking is good for me. Then I was like, okay, don't go. I'll go on my own. So I'll be going for a walk every evening on my own. So this was happening just like one day before like the same day the labor pain started, I was going for a walk all alone. So, but yeah, that really helped me to stay independent emotionally, physically, obviously. And I really took it as something that, if I'm able to do this much, then I think I'll be able to do, like, she is my birth support and all. But in a way, mentally, I was preparing myself to remain independent, and that helped me during, labor pain actually.
I found that more than the actual mundane day to day work, I think it was communication, which I felt that which really made me realize that my communication with others and my communication with my own family member and especially my sister is so different than others. Like I'm someone who will say a thing on your face, like, "Hey, I don't like this," But for me, to say her the same thing, it was like going through a big cycle. She's pregnant, she's emotionally this, her hormones are like, and what about my hormones? And it's like, what about I'm feeling this pain? Like I have a PMS. How to take? There are two women. One is pregnant. One is going through like, all of that. How do I manage that? I cannot do everything, and she has to understand it. But then, I think it really helps to say these things. So I think that's where, I remember our first consultation. I was overwhelmed because she snapped me last night, like before meeting Priyanka. She almost told me that it would have been better if I would have called my mother-in-law. And that was for me like, good for you, but why did you waste my time? She said, you can pack your bags and leave. And luckily we had a consultation next day. I was overthinking. I never met Priyanka. I had no idea who is she and how it's going to be. And we were like in the consultation room, and then she's like, "Hey guys, you have a questions." That's like her style. I'm like, say something. आप कैसे हो? She's like, no, just ask questions. I'm like, baby को देख लूँ ये वो. And then I said, I was like little apprehensive that it's a clinic and we are coming, and of course people are busy. We are in pandemic. We are wearing masks. You don't even know how I look like. You know, so all those things are like a lot of apprehension. Whether should I start? It's a personal, but at one point I felt that it's for me, it's like nothing is personal in that sense. Everything has a larger meaning. It is so. If I don't share it, it's not gonna help us in the labor. She will know what is it, who we are. So better to show your skin on your shoulder. Then she knows what Preeti can do and what Preeti cannot do. So I found that for me, to be honest, and there is a saying that wear your skin on your what is this part, elbows. It's much easier for me than to hide. I cannot hide what I feel. So I just opened up to her. I said, I don't know whether I should be saying this, but I have some questions. Actually, we are dealing with a lot of house issues. So she's like, okay. And I said, but all these has implications. I don't want to say that how much work I should do, but it is affecting us. So then we got into the question of space, the question of communication, and I think these are also very very fundamental things when it comes to labor, because when she's having contractions, she does need her space at the same time. How much support is a good support? Do I need to hold her? Do I need to make her paralyzed? Do I need to make her feel independent? What should I tell her? Should I cry with her? So it was like a rehearsal before the labor. And I thought that exercise and was so important with Priyanka, because she exactly know how emotionally we are located with each other, and where she felt, because at times during the labor she felt that, okay, I'm losing out, and she's like, you go out and take a walk and maybe drink something and then come back. And I had a breakdown when it was so hard for me, and I was like, that time I felt like, oh my god, why can't I do this something for her, to make. But then that moment is, I realized that it's not that her vulnerability when she was pushing, but that reaffirmed me that she's independent, she has to do it, and she's my sister, but she is an individual and I'm there as a support. I cannot, like, I can feel what, I can see the pain, but I need to be there as firm. And I think that's in that entire labor for me, I think the actual meaning of support was getting like, making meanings. It was not something, you read a manual, what is it to be the support person. And even though, for husbands, and I feel for man, like, just because you're a husband, it doesn't mean that you gonna be the excellent support person, because it's your child. It doesn't happen like this. And then I, I think the most of the women, they go through trauma or postpartum. Actually, it's making more sense to me that they are always there, their support person, and suddenly everyone finds their life, and the mother is left with the baby. And I'm happy that my brother-in-law is away, because now this connection is giving them time to be have the same bond. you know Otherwise, if he would have been there, they would have been managing some mundane things, and the conversation would have been like flat. He's washing nappies, or he's doing this and that, and at the end of the day they don't have anything. So it has, I think, the support doesn't, it for me, it didn't start in the labor room and end in the labor room. I think it's a continuous process, that she feels supported. Look, okay, I can do this. But I think it's kind of, really helped me to understand what is it to support somebody, and why just labor. I mean, what is it to support, and where to take your, where to let go and where to hold. I think that's what it means to me, for me, that what actual support means.
One day I just, messaged Priyanka saying that, is it possible if any baby mother, like any pregnant women around the same due date, coming and staying in Kochi, so maybe we can, stay nearby. So there is like some support. And at that time, Preeti's plan was not really confirmed. So on that, this thing, I was like, okay, maybe I'll have to do it all alone. So that was also a reason that I messaged Priyanka asking if, if you can connect me to somebody. And I think she approached this BV mother group, some WhatsApp support group, where she posted this thing, like I wrote a whole message saying this is the scenario and I'm looking for a house and all. So fortunately, Nishana, who's one of a BV mother who had a VBAC some 2.5 years ago, she connected with me and she's like, hey, I have a whole house open to you and you can just stay. And I'm like, hey, like this is something I was experiencing for the first time. I'm like, how can somebody just open up her house, especially during this time when people are talking about social distancing, mask, coronavirus. I mean, this was a very huge support, I would say, somebody really offered. Then still I was really doubtful whether to really go about it or not, because staying at somebody's place, uh, especially for a longer period, if it's like a week in 10 days, you can just say, okay, I'm coming. But if it's for longer period, you are not sure about whether to really take it up or not. So I said, okay, I'll just confirm to you in a day or two. And I still kind of looking on this rented apartment thing and all. But somewhere deep down my intuition said, you know what, let's go by this, because you can stay outside, but the support that you might need might not come when you're staying outside, because she herself has gone through natural birthing and all. So philosophy wise, she would be able to get you, and then the kind of support you might need later on after the baby arrives, you can get it from that person. So then this is how, like, we kept the connection going on. She's like, hey, whatever you need, the stuff, baby's clothes and everything, don't worry, I have everything, don't bring anything, even your own clothes, don't worry, I have all the clothes. If you are okay to use mine, you can take it. So she was like very generous. And even till today, even like if some days we are not feeling well, she's like, hey, you want me to cook for you, in case you just let us know. And then we tell her, then she'll, and like the family, her mother, everybody, they're like so kind and so supportive. So that has been, like, I would say, this is BV support group, this mother support group, which is like really helped me.
In one of the discussion, it appeared before also, and I got this clarity that how it went smooth for us and it would be difficult for somebody else. I think this question is set back in 5 years before, when we had to face difficulty, when there was a lot of drama, like, why do you want to go to the south? And I think 5 years before, when I was really unwell, and Priyanka and I decided that I think we want to go through institutions, which are Ayurvedic in nature, like who provides Ayurveda treatment, and we don't want to go through Western institutions of any kind. And we want. I think that the calling for us was 5 years back when we decided that trip, and that was a lot of apprehension. Like, why do you want to do it? So I think it's a question about women's body. What is it that they want to do? How they want to do the things. And childbirth is of course a major event in a woman's life. So, and it cannot be your own thing. The child is about a husband and a wife. It's about a family. It's about not about just your family, another family. So yeah, so once the woman comes to that stage of your life, the I think the dynamics changes and things become complicated. Why? Because there are two families involved now. But I think for us, I think we questioned our own parents. Like, why just mother in law? Why our own mother? Like, I think the patriarchal thing is not just parents in law, your own parents who tell you, like, what you can choose, whom you should get married, what you should wear. It starts from there. It starts from, like with my niece now, that today I say, oh, she's a girl, in the video, she should not sit like that. Why her legs are not covered? There should be something on her head. So it starts from today. It's a setting of the foundation and how we, what we want her to be exposed at. So I think the first question, people, like, I was shocked when people asked me, what is like, my mother is the first person who asked what is the gender of the child. So when she was born, I'm like, she's gone through a lot of pain, she's your daughter, you have taken care of, but we did not even check that. It took us a hour to even, and it was certainly at that moment for me, it felt like, you know that the gender, I mean, I'm not saying it's not important, it does, it changes everything, and it's a part of your identity. But it should not, it changes people's attitude, it changes how people are going to talk to you, how. And that was my mother. So the patriarchy is not somewhere else, the patriarchy is within our own families, and it's been a constant fight for us, that we want to do things our own way, we want to choose. And if we would not have done that together, we would not have been, it would not have been possible. And for us, we had a lot of clarity about Kerala. Like, we want to come here, we know we don't speak the language, we are outsiders, but we always felt a sense of warmth when we came here. We always felt supported by people. I mean, I'm not saying there are all good people in one good place. You have but I've had very amazing, I think I've grown up, in Kerala. I've seen myself, I've found myself, and a lot of healing has happened to me in this place. A lot of family healing has happened to, to all of us. So yeah, I think that this decision is not like just happened. I think it is like back then it's been constant.
Challenge was that whenever I'll give her, oh, so mostly the classes, I think the batch I was in, it was really, it came to me like, okay, tomorrow 7 or 5:30 is the class. And then at such short notice, when I told her, she was like, hey, I have this plan, that plan. I was like, I don't know what plan or what not, you are going to attend this. So then finally she did, and after one class, and then I'm constantly like checking on her on messages, are you there, are you there, I cannot see you on video, I hope you're listening to what is going on. And then because she's sitting in Bhubaneswar, I'm in Delhi, and then it's not like, so everybody, all the couples, they are like sitting together next to each other, so one can see like, okay, are you attentive or not. But here in this case, I didn't know, so I was constantly checking. So after first class, I think Preeti had left maybe some few minutes before the class ended, and then I called her. I was like, why are you not there, why you didn't attend the full class? Then she's like, she gave her, reasons. And then yeah, I created a huge fuss about it. I told my parents, she's not serious about classes, how she's going how she's going to go with me, how she's going to support me. And then later when she opened up about her experience, as after attending this first class, how she felt during the whole class, that really changed my perspective. And then I realized that it's not really the same thing when you attend the class as couple and then you attend class as sisters. Especially like my birth experience, if I talk about, so I would say, I would appreciate Preeti that she, behaved with me in a manner that I stay independent and not really depend on her for my whatever basic needs. So that kind of kept me motivated to do things on my own. So the day my contraction started, I think when I told Preeti, she was like, she woke up and then she was not able to sleep. She was like, okay, now it's going to increase. Now the pain is going to increase, the intensity and the frequency. Then I was like, no, you sleep. I'll manage, because I was able to manage. This was like early labor contractions, which were not really painful. And then, so the whole time, till the time we reached birth village, my contraction were like getting stronger. So the next day also in the daytime, I was like, you sleep, because your sleep is, as important as mine. If you won't sleep, you'll not be able to, support me. And then she's like, yeah, but I'm not able to sleep. And like, you take some medicine, some Ayurveda medicine, you just sleep. And I was like, because this pain, I have to manage on my own. You cannot really do anything. If I need something, I'll let you know. So we reached birth village around 12:30 in the night time. And so when Priyanka checked, she's like, hey, you are just 4 centimeter dilated. Why don't you go back? I said, I'm not going back now. I want to stay here, and but I'll be on my own. She's like, are you sure? I was like, yeah. And then the whole night, I was sleeping, and then in between the contractions were coming, and I was making all kinds of noises. Then Preeti will just suddenly wake up, and then she's like, do you need something? I said, no, you just sleep. I just need this. You just sleep. I don't want you to wake up, because if you are there looking at me, I'm feeling distracted. And these contractions, I think I just have to focus on keeping my eyes closed, let it come and let it go. It's like one contraction at a time, like Donna, how she trained us in the workout classes. So she's like, okay. And then till morning, in between I was sleeping, and then this coming. So yeah, in a way, I'm seeing that I kind of, my focus was more on like her, that she sleeps well, and so that I was like, okay, because it's going to, go really intense and stronger. And at that time, I'm going to need her more than, now. So her rest is more important. So I think the whole focus of mine was on her. And like when the transition phase really came, the pain was like more. At that time, I was like, you are not going anywhere else. You just stay there, you bring hot water bag, and, just put it this way, put it that way. It was definitely pain. Pain was there because, that's how this human has come out. So the whole my perception towards pain was really changed because of the Lama's classes. Because earlier I was just seeing that pain is something which is going to drain you down, but at the same time, how you see pain is also an important.
At the last minute, I did not know what is where to look for, what if they're going to ask me something. So she did, even though all the classes, but I think people are people, habits are habit. So she changed. She packed the bag for the baby. And finally, when they were asking me in the birth that, can you give me a cloth? And I ended up giving her a new swaddle, and which they cut. And that, So I think for me, it's really funny. I'm not a very makeup person, but I packed all my cosmetic, my rose water, and my brush, and this and that. And I thought I'm going to get a morning. I'm going to have a perfect morning where I'm going to brush my teeth. And it's going to be like, we'll have breakfast, then the contractions will start. So I really thought that it's going to be like this. But I don't have a memory from where it was mild to where it became unbearable, because I'm like, when this happened. So I think the time in between was just too little a window that I could just book my last breakfast in Priyanka was, and I think it started catching up, and then it was becoming intense. And she was going, I think she was going in a trance completely. To tell her anything, hey, can I remove your clip because it's hurting my chest? She's like, no, don't remove anything. I'm like, so I don't know what level of preparation one can do for it.
So it's
Okay.
been 12 days now after her birth, and I would say nothing really big has changed between both of
Both
us.
of us, yeah.
So for like almost like 7 8 days I was really taken care. I was on my bed. Everything was served right then and there whenever I'm asking. Now it's 12th day and I am expected to do my things on my own like before. It's like, okay, now it's done, it's over. Birth support, everything is done. You know, do your things. Then I'm like, yeah, slowly picking it up.
Yeah.
So
We are coming to back as like sisters, not she's mother of somebody or
yeah.
you know. So it's like we're going to remain sister. You have a child. It's our child, you know. So I am also working, so you should also work. But yeah, I mean, I'm sensitive to that fact that yeah, her body has gone through a change and she needs time for healing and all that. But yeah, sometimes I'm also feeling tired. I'm like, you can also do your work. It's as simple as that. So it doesn't really have to change anything, I guess. You know, sometimes I'm like, I don't want to do it.
Now it's on record. I'm so happy. You know, you birth anywhere, it doesn't matter. But I think for the most important thing is to really take care of yourself when it comes to your diet, nutrition, and all, like physical fitness and all. Uh, More than that, I think it's very important to create your own support group, and to gain information which is authentic, because right now when you google you will get all kinds of answers to all kind of questions. But to find people who are doing some sessions, or who are conducting workshops on childbirth, or especially this childbirth classes, which sounds very fancy because that was not a thing some time ago. But with I think with more and more information, we are feeling more and more lost, and it's very hard to find or make a difference which information is authentic and we can follow, and which is not. So for example, one of my friends is like pregnant, and she has done BMS, and she has attended some labor and all, where she was practicing. So now when she's pregnant, she's feeling that maybe I know everything, and then one day she'll be like, hey, I don't know anything. I was like, why don't you find people like you who are going through the same journey? Because for me, in my case, like how I connected to someone, she was the first one, and then she forwarded me this poster of heart in the tummy event. And when I attended this event, it was the 2 days online event, and luckily because of the pandemic it was happening online. And then I attended it, and there were a lot of sessions which really helped me, and especially the session which Reba Daniel conducted. This was Power of Pregnant Women, where because before that I somehow was feeling a lack of confidence in me, because everybody is telling you what to do and what not to do when you are pregnant, and you suddenly feel that your agency in on your own body is not there, and everybody is doing it with best of their interests and best intentions. But after attending Reba's session, I really felt that I need to be back on my track, and I need to take my own things on my own hand. So that really changed my whole perspective towards my own body, towards myself, and how I take this journey forward. So I would, and then from there, like I connected to Divya Deswal, and what's her name, Reba, and then I attended Priyanka's session, and then there are a lot of lactation counselors and all. So that helped me to follow these people on Instagram, and then I found out that these people were doing a lot of Instagram sessions which were free of cost. So it's like all the information that you should be getting is there. It's just that how you join the dots, you connect with people. So I think whoever is pregnant in this scenario, in this coronavirus situation, wherever you are, wherever you birth your baby, it's important you find people like you who are going through this journey, on people who can actually support you. There are Instagram pages and free live sessions you can attend, and actually feel that you are not the only one doing this, and feel supported is the main thing.